easy to steal for Rubik. And even if you don't deal any damage with it, just removing the... Getting it for the damage reduction out of the enemy team can be very powerful.
I'm looking at the draft, so I've got to say this is going to be an exciting match. We've got AA being picked up in tandem with the Shaker. There's going to be huge team fight potential coming out from both sides. And I mean, obviously the first series we saw today, a little bit one-sided, obviously favouring the side of Na'Vi at the end of the day. This matchup, I think it's going to be a lot closer. I think NIP and VP, they could both easily take the series.
I would agree. I still, for me, going into the series, based on what we've seen from NIP so far in this tournament, they did win, and they did make it through the lower bracket yesterday, but they took quite a long time to beat teams that, in my opinion, based on just talent of the team and recent practice, both basically Unknown and Burden United haven't really practiced much since they either didn't do well in the qualifiers, or I think basically Unknown weren't even in the qualifiers.
They went into the open qualifiers, but they didn't make it to the actual qualifiers.
So I wasn't that impressed with Ninjas yesterday. I think they had moments of really solid play, but I would like to see them pull out some... They need to play their best, is what I'm getting at here. So for me, VP are the favorites of the series. I think this last pick, though, could become some trouble for VP. This is a very good Phoenix game.
It really, really is. It's going to be incredible what NIP are going to be able to bring to the pitch when they kick the team fights off. But I'm sure VP, they're going to pick something here that's going to make them very scary to fight into. Obviously, as we're saying already, with the Shaker and the AA, you've got to be very careful about picking the fights if you are the side of NIP. And VP now with this final pick, almost certainly still looking for that Illidan Storm Rage hero. Now, is there anyone that comes to mind? NIP, they ban out hero. They ban out the PL, actually being the only kind of position one that they banned out themselves. So VP, they've got a lot of options open here.
I'm thinking maybe they pull out a Slark. It's a hero that VP have played quite a bit in the past. You can remove Fire Spirits with Dark Pact, and Pounce is actually pretty decent against Phoenix in lane. You can force out the Icarus dive very easily. Or you can just, it's also a hero that, when it comes to 3 versus 1 situations, has decent burst damage when he doesn't need to be scared to commit in.
You know what I'd like to see?
Could be a hero.
I'd like to see the Illidan Lina.
I think that's a little bit overkill. The attack speed is great against the Egg, but that might be a little overkill on the magic side of things. They already have a Lesh. I think that pairing is fairly weak against BKBs, out of which NIP will definitely be getting on both Shadow Fiend and the Gyro. I'm thinking Slark, or a hero that deals well with the Supernova. And a hero I was actually thinking about could be really good here would be Sniper, which pretty much no one picks anymore, but this is the kind of game that Sniper can really shine in. There's pretty weak catch. He is really good against Gyro and Shadow Fiend out of the range advantage, and has very good access to destroying the Supernova as well. But I don't know if VP ever play it anymore. That could be an interesting pick. A hero like Troll is also completely fallen out of favor, and this was another hero I was going to mention.
I'll show you what's in.
Yeah, that's easy to say. Obviously, we saw it picked yesterday as to try to deal with, I think in that game it was Tombstone as well as Nether Ward. Geminate attack does 2 hits on the Supernova. And as far as NIP goes, the only really good Weaver counter they have is the Disruptor. So it's definitely possible for Illidan to play around that. So this is another solid pick.
Okay.
Who do you think has the better draft?
In my opinion. You want my opinion? Wow. In my opinion, I'm...
All right, you're wrong. VP's is better.
Is that a definite? You feel that it's just... I mean, I guess lane-wise...
So you were going to say no?
I'll agree with you, Sin. I mean, you've got a bit more background than me. I'm not
sure, actually,
on a pro team.
I feel like this is fairly... Oh, get out of here. I feel like this is pretty even, to be honest. I think a lot of it is on the Phoenix to perform. I think if Jonas has a good game, he can do a lot of work. If he struggles in lane. He's dire off lane, he's against both a Shaker and a Rubik with good range stuns to catch him out, and then maybe he might just have to leave the lane, which would be a really big problem.
And I mean, I guess lane-wise, we're pretty much expecting defensive trial-ins from both sides, or do you feel maybe with the Weaver, the A, the Rubik, VP might look to go aggressive?
Yeah. They could also try for that, but then you give a lot of space to the Phoenix if you go for an aggressive lane. I don't think that's what you want to do. Of course, you would be letting both Gyro and Shadow Fiend farm, but if you look at your game plan, I think probably the better call for VP here is to you just solo off lane the Shaker. You're able to roam both your Rubik and AA pretty well into mid lane, and Shadow Fiend is going to be super exposed in that lane. And then at the same time, you shut out the Phoenix early, and that way most likely win 2 lanes.
Okay, and here we go. We're able to get ourselves underway here for the first game here. Best of 3. Of course, the loser of this will go up against Alliance in the lower bracket. Well, let's see who's going to be able to take their spot against Na'Vi, continue on into the winners bracket as we get ourselves underway. On the side of VP, what have we got? We're going to be having DK Phobos, of course, on his off-lane Shaker. It will be G on that mid lane core Leshrac, FNG on the support AA. You can have Illidan on the position 1 Weaver, and finally Lil there on the Rubik. I'm ODPixel. I'm joined by Synderen for this series. And Synderen, what are we seeing from NIP this game?
We're seeing a smoke, and it's currently covering up Seal Kid on the Witch Doctor, Hanskin, Disruptor, Jonas on Fawn will be on Phoenix. We've got Limp, the Shadow Fiend, and finally Era will be playing as the Gyrocopter. They're looking for maybe a little bit of a cheeky play, as we like to say.
They find Shaker is going to be
probably going to be successful the way this is starting out. Phobos holding his fissure. No.
That's your first blood. And going to Limp as well, of course, there for the mid lane SF. NIP, they're going to be very happy with that start. And that's the bottle coming straight out thanks to that first blood.
Yeah, he did start with Shadow Raise. I don't think he used 1 raise there. That's the kind of situation where you might consider scaling Necromastery and just getting so extremely many souls. You get 12 souls from just getting the last hit there, but first of all, you can't rely on getting the last hit for yourself, and secondly, you secure it more by having the raise. So you get a little bit of an instant replay there. Decent fissure, but that's just no way. Good kinetic field skill point used by Disruptor to secure that. And in addition, Limp is also going to get the top runes. He's actually going to have a bottled rune on level 1.
Oh, Jonathan Fan's actually already used his dive here. He could be in trouble here. VP might be able to find the return code. They're going to miss the split up, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter as the right clicks come through, and they do manage to get themselves on the board very early as well. 12 seconds in, picking up the kill onto Jonathan Fan.
This is going to be a very hard game for the Phoenix, I feel. He ends up selling a branch just to port to bottom and maybe get some experience here, but you've got the feeling that if Rubik, so this is the problem for a Phoenix in this kind of lane. Rubik goes in and starts hitting Phoenix. What do? You run. You can't dive, because if Rubik is fast on telekinesis, you're dead. And you're going to see it right here. He needs to be really, really careful here with his timing. He's going to tank up so much damage, and now you're going to finally force him to dive more than likely. He's not using it. Oh, wow, that was really, really cocky in that situation. Going to use it a little bit aggressively here and go in.
He's trying to go in indeed onto Illidan, turning around with the right clicks, but I was going to go down here, keeping themselves safe. But I mean, we're seeing the potential there for the Phoenix to maybe even turn it around if Illidan overextends.
Yeah, the good news for him is that because of this aggression from VP, they ended up having 2 range creeps in the lane. And this is going to push into Jonas, so he will probably be getting at least level 2 at his tower, so that's very good news. It did cost him almost all his regen to do this, but in the end might be worth it.
Mid lane at the moment, G's managing to keep himself pretty much on top with the SF in terms of CS, even with the harassment coming out from the Witch Doctor. And obviously just trying to secure Limp that space to get himself the points up in the Necromastery and able to continue to maintain control of this lane. I mean, Leshrac versus Shadow Fiend, is it understandably a hard lane for the SF? Does he need this kind of support at the early game?
He probably does, just to repel potential rotations from VP. If it's just an isolated one-on-one, I think Shadow Fiend is pretty okay in this lane. Especially with the first blood he got and everything, he should be fine. But they're trying to put some focus on getting Limp a really good start, which I can definitely agree with. And I guess I should make myself clear as far as the Phoenix pick goes in this game, because I did say during the draft that it was going to be a very good pick for NIP. And what I meant by this is the Radiant side at that point, before the Weaver pick, had very few ways of dealing with the Supernova. They actually had none.
Yes. Yeah.
But as far as the laning stage goes, it's difficult. So it's one of those like kind of high-risk, high-reward Phoenix games where if he gets off to a good laning stage, he's going to be amazing, but he risks being shut down. And so far, he's only managed to get level 2 at 220, and at this point, probably going to have to use a defensive dive as well. So he's going to be a little bit starved for experience, but can definitely have a very big impact in this game, Jonas, if he does it the right way now.
FNG and Jonas just trading some hits here. We're going to see the Rubik trying to get in position. They've got a telekinesis, but he won't be able to quite find it. And Jonas and Fan living on the edge there, but does get himself back into safety.
That was very close now. Unfortunately for him, the equilibrium is in place for VP, so I don't think he's getting more experience in this lane, to be honest with you.
Ooh. Very, very close to coming down there as Limp gets one punch.
It's the Faceless Rex.
Oh, someone brought a few caches. But I mean, 1-1 at the moment, 3 minutes in. Do you kind of feel there's an edge to someone? Is anyone happier with this laning stage at the moment, or are both teams getting something out of it at the moment?
Well, NIP got the first blood and they got a good start for their mid lane, but considering that G is getting good farm, I think VP are going to be happier right now just because of how much the Phoenix is getting shut down and the Weaver getting farm. Granted, the Shaker in the off lane for Phobos is also only level 2.5, but I feel like he's going to contribute way more. Like, in the levels between level 2 and 5, he will be more useful than the Phoenix, probably. And then, once he cracks level 6, Jonas can have a really big impact, but the way it looks right now, not very likely to happen until minute 10, to be honest.
Oh, indeed. I mean, we're just seeing kind of the supports remaining to their own lanes, Witch Doctor sticking around the mid. Not a lot of rotations here, and both teams just farming up. In terms of CS, the Gyro compared to the Weaver, pretty much on the same level, and the Lush and the Shadow Fiend at an equal point as well at the moment. So nothing too crazy happening. We're going to see Rubik head back towards the bottom. Maybe see if he can spot out this Phoenix, but Phoenix, Jonas and Fan hiding in the tree line there. And it doesn't look like VP are they going to look for him? Lil? He's heading into the side shop there.
Well, this is a good spot if they don't find him. This is going to be a lot of experience for Jonas. It's one of those plays that can have a much bigger impact than it looks like. Initially, it's like, okay, he's just leeching 1 or 2 experience waves, but that's actually very important right now. Just getting anything he can. Of course, it is also a risky position to be in. If he does get spotted out, he needs to be very, very careful not to get lifted on his way out, since his escape path will be straight through the Rubik, which makes it a lot easier to land the telekinesis on the way. And, well, so far so good for him. What are we looking at for supports? So VP have a level 2, almost 3 AA, and their Rubik is actually level 4, so Lil's getting a lot of pulling experience for NIP. Hanskin level 4 on Disruptor, and Seal Kit level 3.5. So maybe a slight advantage for NIP in the support regard. Looks like that is the case.
Bottom lane.
It's a very even game so far.
He's just going to pick himself up a TP here, Lil, see if he can help something out if it goes down. And across the map.
Oh, they're going to find Jonas. This is a big, big problem. That TP is not going to be successful whatsoever. Very easy pickoff.
Very tasty one as there for VP, getting the kill onto Illidan. More pocket, top of the CS board at the moment in terms of net worth. We can almost imagine he'll be up there as well compared to the Gyro. I mean, Gyro's been getting a lot of space as well, but in comparison, you know, the farm on the 2 heroes at this point, going into when you go into the mid game, is it a little bit more potent on the Weaver? Can the Weaver do much more earlier on than the Gyro, would you say?
They're good at different things. The Weaver is better for, you know, if it comes to, say, shutting out a Phoenix of the lane, I think Weaver is stronger than Gyro in that position, because Weaver can actually just really aggress him at all times, just Yukuchi in and start attacking him. In terms of teamfight, Gyro provides way more with minimal farm in the start, where Weaver struggles to commit, so... It's like, what do you want? Do you want split push and single lane pressure, or do you want teamfight? Then Weaver is better for 2 of them, and Gyro definitely better for 1 of them.
Oh, they're really going in there. He's got level 6, he's got the time lapse, he feels pretty safe. There'll be a dive forward here. Just getting the spirits out onto the Weaver. Just forcing him back in FNG now. With an Invis Ring heading towards mid. Silk is trying to find some levels. He is on his own here, but the Sentry indeed, they know what's up, and Silkid will be able to keep his distance, and very lucky because that Sentry was just about to expire, and Silkid, if he'd stepped a further foot forward, he could have been dead.
And even worse for VP in that situation, he would have realized that the Sentry was there because he got hit by the range. So if they try to counterward this, or they hesitate to go for plays mid now in the next short while because of that, it's actually gone. So they would be wasting any investment they go into that. But he is now rotated the far way down to the bottom lane, where Jonas still struggling to find... He's currently level 4. Shaker is actually still being out-leveled by him, though. So NIP getting a decent trade there still. And as far as this farming goes, you gotta feel like VP just have a devastating mid-game where Supernova has to be there for NIP to take fights. It's just not available.
Yeah, I'm just saying in terms of farm, SF, obviously thanks to the fact that he's been backing out to the jungle, keeping himself on top of the board in terms of CS here for the side of NIP. And now, well, Rubik moving in here, he's going to have to telekinesis to cancel the dive, and Jonas Fan's going to be in trouble unless he gets some backup, and backup is going to be on its way. Hansken TPing in, and maybe seeing if they can try and turn this. He's got the glimpse, and he's going to pop it straight away, bringing Lil back, trapping him up in the field. Now with the rotation from Sealkid as well. NIP should be able to find something out of this one. Lil getting low, and he will go down. They'll find one. Illidan trying to return kill onto Hansken. He's going to have to time lapse back here. The Voodoo Restoration helping out Disruptor. It's not enough. Illidan does manage to escape, and it does end up being a 1-for-1 there between the teams. So at least for the side of VP, Illidan is able to get something off the back of that.
Yeah, that's probably a net win for VP. They forced 2 TP rotations and still trade 1-for-1 on support.
Chilling
oh, that hurts.
That's how you get a double kill.
And now it definitely favors them. If there was any doubt before, they're even going to get a rune for Illidan. That's the whole package. 2 kills as well as a rune. Immediately, even a bounty rune, getting more gold, more experience go his way. Big win for them. And they've rotated the Shaker a little bit, so they're going to give Phobos some space in the mid and send Rubik top. I think this is a very good idea from VP. Make sure Phobos does not become a complete liability. As I mentioned earlier, he can actually do quite a bit with low levels, but when you're playing a core Shaker, you want to see that blink out around the 20-minute mark, if possible, at the latest. So he has to go somewhere he can find the farm, and mid lane is definitely a possibility. And looks like NIP, you know what? They're doing the same thing.
Yeah,
Putting their offlaner mid, so pretty even matchup here.
They're still sitting pretty much bang on in terms of XP, getting towards that level 6. And they're just both halfway through level 4 at this moment. G heading back towards the mid lane, just seeing if they can catch out the Phoenix, but it's not going to be the case. And G's still doing pretty well at the moment, but net worth-wise, you've got Shadow Fiend at the top, closely followed by Illidan. And Illidan is getting a lot of space, but at the same time, the Jara is as well. But the fact that Jara's not been involved in any kills, whereas the Weaver himself has, is meaning they start to fall apart between them.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
It is very important for NIP that Limp has not been killed. He's got 77 CS minute 9, which is extremely high.
Oh, Seal Kid is going to need some help here. There's a time lapse, so Illidan's going to go absolutely deep on this one. There we go, gets the kill. Now maybe the raise is not coming through in time as Illidan gets the time lapse off. There'll be another TP coming through as well, so Weaver's going to be able to be careful about the way that he gets out of this one. And yeah, he's going to be fine this time. He just backs up around the Ancients.
If you see the pattern of this game, it's just VP forcing NIP to rotate constantly. Like, they're the ones aggressing, they're the ones setting up the kills, and even though there's a tower deny here, they still get a kill, they force down the Shadow Fiend, and they get out alive. They lose nothing. And with Shadow Fiend on the bottom lane, that means other lanes are open. Rubik is going to feel safer top. The Leshrac, you can see posing very aggressively in the mid lane here, starting to hit the tower as well. And albeit Limp does have the mech, they still haven't... They need to set up team fights to use this now, because he is their big hero that they definitely need to take advantage of, and was what I was going to say. It's very important that he has a good game so they can get this mech that allows them to team fight. Now the question is, how do you set them up? Both their supports are actually level 6 on NIP side, which is really good news. Only Jonas needs to get there on the Phoenix. They have the tools, can they find it?
Invis here on G's in the Dire jungle. Maybe see if he can find a solo pickoff. He's going to find a hand scan. Yeah, is he going to go for this one? That's the question. He's going to keep Dire's on it.
Easy kill if he lands the stun.
Nearby.
Has to land it as the opening.
It's just error on the Jara.
Hesitating for now. He might actually end up getting a double here. Oh, very nice fissure, splitting them off here, and yeah, Hanskin is totally dead.
He's gone, so there with the split earth and the storm coming down. There will be...
he got his spells off, though!
Yeah, this might actually get the kill in return, and it will indeed. They will be able to clear up G here on the Leshrac, making it 1-for-1 and now. Jonas and Fan diving forward, getting the slot to Little Phobos, has got the fissure, and now Lil with the stolen cooldown onto 3. NIP aren't going to be able to chase this one any further. They do back themselves up, but ending up being for 1-for-1 trade then. One that definitely favors NIP, taking down the Leshrac.
A good mech usage from Limp, keeping Jonas alive there. It's a 1-for-1 trade, as you say. They're still, once again, VP pressuring the map. They are pushing the bottom tier 2, forcing a TP in from Limp. But NIP going to be pretty happy with that, considering how that fissure spread the fight out and Leshrac got the opening he was looking for in the Disruptor. Good heads-up play from Hanskin to get his spells out fast.
Absolutely. But 6-3 at the moment, net worth-wise. It is still Shadow Fiend at the top, but Illidan, as we've been seeing, he just keep on pushing this bottom lane, finding the space, and NIP, they haven't really been able to do that much about it at this time in the game. I mean, how do you deal with this Weaver? Do NIP need to be forcing the fights elsewhere and, you know, causing Illidan to have to come and join them for VP, or do they need to make a beeline straight for the Weaver?
I actually think he's fairly easy for them to gank. If they just put down a sentry and then Thunderstrike him, then they can just glimpse him back into Static Storm. Like, at this point, Weaver, if he plays aggressively on the lanes, Disruptor plus any of their other heroes can kill him. Especially when there's Shaker to back him up, and most of the time Phobos is showing in lanes, so they know he's not there. So I would definitely recommend NIP to try to get him once or twice. They might just feel satisfied with the current state of the game because their Gyro has 85 CS and Shadow Fiend has a whopping 97 at minute 12, which is really good. But they're still behind on gold. That's the crazy part. They're leading on experience, but VP are actually out farming them. And I think NIP are not expecting this. Like, it's not a big amount that they're ahead. They're still getting the core items they want.
The cooldown's going to come down from Era. It's going to catch Lil and G now with the glimpse, bringing the Leshrac back. Disruptor's there to help out as well. Static's will be dropped. They won't be able to trap G, and G's trying to turn this around, but Silk is there. Look at Restoration split up onto 2. The Lightning Storm bounces through. That's going to be 2 down on NIP. They might find more VP as they're chasing down Hansken. G cleans that one up as well, gets himself a double kill. They do lose the Rubik here, but that's going to be it. 3 for 1 there as VP taking a very dominant fight against the side of NIP, and they're also, by the looks of it, going to find the Tier on the bottom lane.
They got so much out of G there on the Leshrac. Even the fact that he even survives that after all the stuff that was dropped and how much he did makes it even worse for NIP. It's a 3 for 1, that's one thing, but they also lose their Tier 2 bottom. And again, they force the rotations, right? Shadow Fiend is elsewhere, so this Weaver gets to play his lane freely. He's 4-0, now going to claim probably the bonus gold for this tower as well. And he is cruising toward a very good game where, as we talked about earlier, NIP pretty limited encounters once we get to the mid-late game. If he gets to BKB, they kind of can't control him at all. Disruptor, the only really good hero they have against Illidan. This has got to be worrisome.
Certainly beginning to look a little bit tricky here for NIP top lane. The TBs are coming in. They might look to try and catch out Jonas and Fan. The Ice Blast, the Fish is setting it up. Jonas and Fan is going to start to tick down here. And I don't think he lives through this one. It's going to be close. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. And that's
last tick, actually, I think.
It was very close. But again, I mean, that's another kill for VP. And with that space, and Illidan's now arrived to the top lane as well. They're going to be able to start getting the push on here, look for more of that tower gold and keeping the momentum flowing in their favor. And it's just a question of what's the plan now for NIP to try and turn this one around? Well,
it's been a little bit of an uncharacteristic game for NIP where it feels like their supports haven't been in the right place at the right time. I think it's one of the strengths of their team generally is their supports read the game pretty well and they play well together. But this game, they've just been outmaneuvered. So they have to be the ones maneuvering, and here we go. They're going to go on Phobos. This should be a pretty easy pick-off. Double raise, although there might be some counterplay potential here from Illidan. No, he's not going to continue this. Ice Blast, though.
Oh, if the Ice Blast hits onto Limp and Sealkid, yes, Sealkid's low already. The Voodoo Restoration is not going to help him. That's going to be Sealkid down. Illidan does have the time lapse, so use it straight away here. But now he wants to go back in and goes straight through the Static Storm. He doesn't care about that one. And yeah, he's not going to find anything more.
That is stolen by Lil. I'm not sure NIP saw that happening. This could set them up for a really solid team fight. Rubik and Shaker together now can gank any hero on the Dire. They just lift into Fissure and Static Storm, and it should be enough damage, even without an Echo Slam that was expended in that fight from Phobos before he died. So again, NIP come out short. Once again, they have to rotate. All of their 5 heroes were actually top, and they still lost that fight. I believe VP had the majority of their heroes there too. I think Lesh was not a part of anything there.
They've sent everyone up here now though, and Lesh has got the completed Bloodstone smoking up into the jungle here. Era is trying to find some farm, but Phobos is going to find him, setting it with a Fisher. Can they get anything else through? Yeah, the Ice Blast is going to connect just on the tip. Fadebot to finish off the gyro. Now Limp trying to turn this one around with the raise. He's bringing Phobos low. Hansen's going to find the glimpse onto the Earthshaker. Can they bring down Phobos? The Maladin connects now with the cast. It's going to bounce once. It's not going to bounce again. The race is going to be off point. Phobos is going to continue to run. Gets the Fisher. Now Jonas and Fanny with a Supernova. They want to try and find something. They should be able to find the kill onto FNG. So they do find something in return for you to lose the gyro, but they've also lost the Witch Doctor and maybe more because Illidan, he wants to go hammer. Shikuchiing in. There's 3 members here at the moment on the side of NIP, but now the stolen Static Storm catching out Limb. They'll bring down the Shadow Fiend. 3 heroes dropping over the last minute on the side of NIP, and VP only losing FNG there on the AA.
And Shaker getting that kill is actually really big for them. Sure, it's only a 400 gold kill, but it's still... He's getting toward his Blink Dagger. It's not going to be that fast of a Blink Dagger for Shaker, but he also only has 18 CS minutes, 16 as a core, so... He has been sacked quite a bit this game, but it's been totally worth it for them. Once again, they win the fight, and he is, even with his minimal amount of, from just his levels, the level 4 Fissure being used 2 or 3 times that fight makes a very big difference. And NIP, they are just flat out getting outmaneuvered. The VP lineup has very good spammable spells in both the Fade Bolt and the Telekinesis, pretty low cooldowns. G, of course, Leshrac goes without saying how much he can spam in the Shaker. When the fights extend, NIP just flat out lose, because their combo has to land with the Disruptor, Static Storm has to be good, the cooldown has to have an impact. If it doesn't, they just lose over time. And Weaver, of course, great hero for extended fights too.
He's just going to go in on this one as well. The Ice Blast, whoa, look, it's going to catch Hanskin. Illidan doesn't want to dive that far. Going to play it safe, play it cool, and keep it back. But, I mean, as you were saying, just the team fight potential from both sides. To me, it feels for NIP, it's hard to kind of hit the team fight perfectly when you're entering it behind.
Absolutely. It is very, very difficult for them, and they have to try to it's kind of the weakness of their draft is how much they depend on getting a good kinetic field, because it's like the only way NIP really lock the heroes down on the Radiant. They need a kinetic field or a cask that really sets them up nicely, and VP are just good at fighting this. Like, it's almost like it's not a team fight, but like 2 or 3 skirmishes going on at once where they have like 3 attack points, and NIP just aren't tailored for that kind of fights. VP are way superior when it comes to that, so it's getting hard for me to see how NIP can force the fights on their terms. I think they've used more or less all of their smokes, if not actually all. Now they have 1 on Witch Doctor. I believe that... actually also 1 on Disruptor, so never mind. They have 2 more attempts, and they gotta do it. They have to feel like their map is falling apart, and Weaver will just be taking it over even more very soon.
The Blink Dagger is now picked up on Lil as well, so we're talking about teams getting the jump. VP.
He's out farming his Core Shaker quite a bit, actually. He has 5k net worth on Rubik minute 18.
This has not been a game for the offlaners, have it? Neither offlaner on both sides doing that well in terms of farm. Earthshaker obviously got a bit of a sizable lead against the Phoenix, but yeah, as you said, the fact that they are behind these supports, so it's just been making the plays happen. Now 18 minutes in, 14-6 between the sides, and VP with a lead. It's going to be a question of what NIP can do. They've still got a fair bit of farm on the Shadow Fiend, sitting at 8,000 net worth at the moment, and it's just closely followed by Error, but he's still got quite a way to go before he's going to be able to go toe-to-toe with this Weaver in a battle.
The thing I'm wondering in this game is if Limp, I think he needs to get a utility item after BKB. And a lot of the times when Shadow Fiends get like mech Yules, I disagree with it. I think it's too much. But in this game, he's going to need either Yules or Blink. So, because he kind of needs to set up for himself. Like, as we've seen on countless occasions, the Shadow Fiend hits like 1 raise, and that's it. He can't get in there. So if he gets a BKB into Blink, he has a chance of setting himself up to deal a lot of AoE damage and maybe get them ahead in the fight. And once NIP are ahead in the fights, they're going to look great, because then they can glimpse heroes back, they can chase with the Phoenix, they can, to an extent, also, if the Shadow Fiend has a Blink, he can chase too. It's got to be the way they have to go about this. If he just goes for a standard Shadow Fiend build, he's going to get kited all day.
I mean, here we go with the smoke. They're trying to find something here with this usage. Well, he's the closest at the moment. They will find the glimpse onto G, and this is going to be a nice and tasty kill if they can bring down the Leshrac, and the Bloodstone Suicide will be there. But at least it's something, but maybe not what NIP were hoping for entirely with that smoke.
It's actually not good enough. They couldn't, with what they did there, they couldn't have got a better outcome. I think killing the Leshrac and getting him to suicide might be more valuable than just killing the Rubik. But they need more value out of their smokes.
VP want to fight. They go straight in the Ice Blast onto Seal Kid and Error. Illidan's going to head for Error. Seal Kid's going to get taken down by FNG. And now Illidan, he's going for Error. There's also Jonas a fan as well around here. And it's a question of can they do anything to control this Weaver. Illidan's got time-lapse, so he's not going to have any fear at all. Takes down Error. Now he time-lapses back. And Hanskes actually turned up trying to help out. But he might only just end up giving away his life. It's going to be a triple kill for Illidan. Now he's looking for Jonas fan as well. He's going to get caught out by the cold feet. Ultra kill for the Weaver. And NIP just getting dismantled by VP. They just can't do anything to stop him.
They're just getting owned this game, honestly. They've been... It's felt like that kind of game for me from level, like, from minute 5, where VP take all the initiative and all their plays work. Like, they haven't had a single fight where it's like, oh wow, NIP got a really good counter-initiate and they came out ahead. The best fights NIP have had this game have been ties. And every time they've got a tie, they've TP'd for it, and then ultimately they've lost something elsewhere on the map, like be it farm, tower damage, whatever. As Hanskes now going to go in here, he might regret this very soon as... Oh, maybe not. He might not be committing for this. Oh, never mind. Here we go.
With the Blink, Echo Sam holding Limp in place. The Ice Blast will go onto the Disruptor. Limp pops the BKB, but he's already very low. He's trying to touch one with Requiem.
Oh,
and it's looking good. Double kill so far for the Shadow Fiend. Maybe they can find more. Supernova Stone next onto Illidan. He'll still be able to Shikuguchi away, but they're trying to chase this here. Lil's going to get caught out by the slow from the Spirits from Phoenix. Phoenix is telekinesis back, and can they look for anything more here? Illidan and Lil will be able to get themselves out, but well, that's the best fight from NIP we've seen all game, taking down 3 heroes and only losing the Disruptor.
Absolutely. They got 3,000 gold out of that, and that was Limp's BKB at work.
Yeah.
It's the first time he gets to use it. He BKBs when he has like, I think, 1/5 of his health remaining, but they didn't have any way to burst him down. Obviously, Leshrac is out of damage at that point. Weaver did not have enough to take him down in that situation, and gets off a really good Requiem together with the other abilities from NIP finally coming together, because VP commit into that and they don't find the key kills early. And NIP's one chance at that fight, the one big burst they get from Requiem and Static Storm worked out really, really well. And of course, Call Down too from Era. And The Supernova too. It all came together once.
Yeah, it was entirely the fact that Limp doesn't die. He said he gets the BKB off just in the nick of time, and the mech, the Voodoo Restoration, is indeed enough for him to continue to fight. And well, you know, maybe NIP they're going to give it their best, and you know, maybe they've got the potential to swing this one around. It is a 10,000 lead at the moment, 22 minutes in. It's a massive difference between the sides, but you know, we've seen NIP pull things out of the bag like this before, and they're going to give it their best this game. As in terms of breaking the high ground here for VP. Have they got the high ground defense that's going to be enough to stop them, do you feel, or VP got the potential to just go for the tier 3s?
I think it's going to take a while before they can break the base. It's very dangerous to go high ground against Call Down as well as Static Storm, and of course Shadow Fiend can wave clear with the raises very nicely. But it's more just the implications right now with the whole map being claimed by VP that they could just keep farming and wait until it's their time to go in.
This is going to be big if they can find a jump here. It's actually the Static Storm connecting onto Limp. Limp will pop the BKB in. He's going to put the Red Crit. No, he's going to cancel it as well. VP there will be able to finish off the Roshan. Aegis is going to be popped down onto Illidan, and now it's going to be VP they're looking to fight, going straight towards Sealkid. They bring him down. DK Phobos blinking forward. They get the stun onto Hansken. They're trying to slow this one down, but they've already lost the Witch Doctor. They have found the Earthshaker. Now Era coming in with the BKB, doing a fair bit of damage here to G with the Rocket Barrage, chasing this one down. And that's VP that are on the back foot, trying to get themselves out of this. Era heading up to the high ground. He wants to find this Lesh kill. If he finds it's going to be pretty big. Oh, the split up holding him back. Illidan coming in on pretty much 0 health. This is very ballsy. He's going to lose the Aegis here. And can they kill him here? Limp's coming in. G's just hiding in the tree line, but Limp's just going to CP out here. He's not going to look for anything more here. Now going to be Hansken that might be in trouble. Is the damage going to be enough? Oh. No, not quite. Hansken is able to TP out there, but a little bit of a weird Aegis with from Illidan.
Yeah, that was strange. It's like maybe he thought he had 10 times the health he did. I don't know. Or perhaps he was thinking, all right, if I don't go in now, we lose Lesh. So I will sacrifice my Aegis to keep him safe. I do think God was out of that fight, no matter what, but if that was the trail of thought, I can understand it from Illidan there to try to save his buddy. But regardless, VP, they do get the Rosh. Of course, they ultimately lose the Aegis, but still an advantage for them. And if nothing else, now NIP can't snipe it in the next around 8 minutes. And that just means more farm for VP, who claim up a Desolator now on Illidan. Is going to a great farm or a great item, both for ramping up his farm, but also, of course, for split pushing if he reaches the base at some point. So puts a lot more pressure on NIP.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, do you feel that NIP need to be looking for the fights and applying the pressure back, or can they kind of just wait for VP to come to them and just look to kind of get the superior counter initiation?
Not sure. Oh, hearing a smoke. Did I? Or am I just hearing?
No. Yeah, Lil and Phobos here smoking up on the side.
Clicking all the wrong heroes.
Oh, Illidan will use the BKB there. Doesn't want to get caught out by NIP, but if NIP can continue to do this and, you know, whittle down the BKB charges on the Weaver.
That's a really valuable play, by the way. It's not only getting the BKB charge, but it actually counters the smoke as well. Oh, never mind. They still went for it.
That's
all right. I thought
that's big
because it looked like VP after the BKB was used from Weaver, they were like, okay, now we can't go into their jungle anymore. But instead, they do find a pick mid that might be better than the fight they could have potentially found in the jungle. So, after all, they're going to be very happy with that pick. And once again, it's just more time, more space. What I would like to see out of VP right now is try to take control of the enemy jungle. Get in there. They have the kill advantage. All right, they're just going to screw it and go high ground. Whatever. Here we go. Forced Glyph. They do about a 1/5 of damage on the tower as good telekinesis into kinetic field. Or not telekinesis, glimpse, of course.
Yeah, indeed. Glimpsing back G, but without the gyrocopter, NIP, of course, not going to be able to fight their full force. They've got all the ultimates available and online. So ultimately, we'll see if they are able to slow VP down. But Sealkid just going to blow up there. Too much magic damage coming through on top of the Vortex, and well, it looks like VP are going to back up now. They're a little bit scared of the Era Gyro, and they don't want to stick around in the mid lane with Gyrocopter.
This is a really good assessment of their strength by VP. I'm not sure if they were certain that Gyro did not have buyback there, going for that play, but as I said, I think they should go into the enemy jungle and take control of it, but they've analyzed that perfectly. Being able to grab the tower for nothing, even getting a bonus kill there was probably more than what they came for. It's really, really good decision making here. We'll be warding into the enemy jungle as well afterwards, so getting map control and the tower. Really, really solid play from them.
Well, Illidan, I mean, look at him go straight in with the BKB and the Desolate. So much damage, not quite enough to bring Hansken now, because Illidan, he wants something bigger. He wants Era, but Era's got the backup of Lil Limp now, and it's going to be Era that's going to... Well, Illidan's going to be careful. Timelapse is out. He will be able to finish off the Disruptor, and forces out a big reaction there from NIP, but not quite enough to bring down Era, which would have been the favourable target. But still, it's a kill nonetheless for VP, and they continue to maintain their lead against NIP.
It's just more and more farm. Once again, every time they get a pick, NIP have to start playing slowly because they don't have good skirmishing heroes. They're all about the team fight, and VP keep finding one skirmish after the other that they're successful in. You see, it's really good news when you have a Shaker Ruler combo and they can they can double team up and kill the gyro on their own. Because when it comes to the map, whenever VP gets any sort of meaningful information out of the vision they have, they can just go for these kills. Whereas NIP, you look at their heroes, what two heroes can they combine with to kill the cores on VP right now? G has a BKB. The Weaver played by Illidan also has a BKB, so those two cores are unkillable for the Disruptor. You can just BKB the Glimpse. I mean, sure, you force the BKB. It's not that great. Whereas, you know, VP, they just go for the burst plays, and here we go again. It's the right play from NIP, but it seems unlikely to work out, and especially when this happens.
The Shikuchi just dispelling the smoke from them all, and Illidan, he's going to go to work on a Hansken. That's your Disruptor down. Seal Kid melting to the matter of 3 hits there from Illidan, and now Illidan's going to look for Era. There's going to be the Fisher onto Limp. Limp will pop the BKB here, trying to turn this one around, but 2 heroes down. The Raccoon coming out will just clip just by the looks of it, and Limp chooses to just TP out of this one with the BKB, realizing that nothing more can be done in that situation. And well, with 2 heroes down and VP at full force, they're going to look to try and take down the Rax here in the mid lane from the side of NIP.
Yeah, Illidan is just owning right now. He's 11-0 on the Weaver. Extremely far ahead of everyone in terms of farm, and these Racks are going to fall very easily, of course, using the Desolator, as well as Edict, even dealing bonus damage because of that minus armor. Goodbye, Rax. No cost whatsoever again for VP. When's the last time NIP got a kill? It feels like it's been a while. Maybe they got one.
They're gonna glimpse Illidan back here. Has got the BKB here for 10 seconds, and well, that's gonna mean they will be able to find the Weaver kill. This is gonna be big for NIP. Maybe they can follow it up with some more action. Jonas Man just gonna choose to pop the Supernova here. Era has popped the BKB in and trying to chase this down. Can they get Lil? The cooldown isn't going to connect. Rubik has also got this Blink Dagger, of course, so he will be able to get himself out. I mean, they did lose the reacts, but at least they find the kill on Illidan, something that NIP look at this with the amount of gold they got.
Recap, 3k gold for 1 kill. Yeah, he had a big streak, and all the gold went onto the gyro. So Arrow will be getting his, I believe, his Yasha. Actually, full, no, not SNY. Never mind. The Sanj is Limps. This is the Yasha for the gyro. It's something, but it's still. They really want these kind of fights where they get a key kill and then they get to chase down and get maybe 2 or even 3 kills because of additional glimpse. It's just not. There's no bonus apart from that one pick-off that VP had to trade a Weaver for Rax.
I mean, Rubik, let's have a look on the side of VP who's looking towards this Aghanim Scepter, and hang on, what's coming out in the courier? That's, it is the completed Aghanims here for Lil on the Rubik's. I mean, 30 minutes in, pretty impressive timing here. The Rubik's been having a great game.
He is super farmed. He has twice the net worth of the 2 enemy supports combined. I don't know the last time I've seen this, actually. That's ridiculous.
And there's a lot of very nice things to steal in terms of ultimate-wise. Obviously, with the Death Ward Aghanims, that's going to be very scary. Even the Static Storm, the fact that you've got Era and Limp relying on these 2 BKBs. If you can steal the Static Storm and use this in this fight, it's going to be something that NIP are going to have to be very scared about. Illidan there. I wish Doctor just smells. The fact he's got this Crystallis now on top of the Desolator means that these supports that are already very poor are just going to remain as poor as they've been the entirety of this game. I mean, look at the net worth value you were saying about difference. It's not been a great game for the supports of NIP.
Just starved. It's the risk you take when you get this kind of a support duo where they're both very good reactionary. It's that, well, if you get forced to rotate all the time and you don't have really good timing on the counter initiates, you lose so much potential in the game. And it's not even because they were low level. Like, they still managed to get some decent levels on both their supports, but one of them is 1 in 7, the other one's 1 in 9. It's really not having an easy game. Big part of it, of course, is Illidan's Weaver countering both these heroes very nicely. Once he gets a BKB, you actually can't do anything without, like, a Ghost Scepter. It just runs you down. There's no possible counterplay.
I mean, I guess on the plus side for NIP in terms of the Illidan Weaver, his BKB is down to 5 seconds.
That is true.
It's going to be very hard to catch this guy out. I mean, the fact he's only died once this match, they're going to need to perfectly kind of time up their skills if they wish to catch out the Weaver.
The BKB on Jonas, though, is a really good choice. It might give NIP another chance, because then he doesn't need to pop Supernova as early. He can go and drop some Fire Spirits, maybe tank up a little bit of damage first, and then Supernova when he feels like it's the time. And it also prevents the instant counterplay that VP had with a couple of heroes. Glimpse is, I believe that got VK.
No, he's just bringing Illidan. Illidan was trying to go in there onto Limp, and
I see.
it's just being used to get the Weaver away from him. Yeah. So defensive Glimpse, and VP hanging around just outside the pit. In terms of Roshan, what kind of timing are we seeing? It is coming up soon as well here, so this looks like this is probably going to be the game plan here for VP. Wait for Roche, get the Aegis, and
it's
and
the last chance for NIP too.
Go for another round.
This is the best, probably the best fight they can take. If they give away the Aegis for free, Weaver is going to take a tower with that Aegis, and they're going to lose a second lane of Rax, more than likely. It's going to be very difficult to hold. NIP, not the best single target damage against a sieging hero like Weaver, and they have to combine their abilities very nicely to prevent the time lapse. Difficult situation as Roshan the Stone Man has respawned, and NIP are showing heroes top, so this is free. VP know it.
Into the pit, VP, and with the amount of physical damage they've got on this Weaver, they're going to make short work. Yeah, I mean, even if NIP realise there's not really a lot they can do regarding the positions that their heroes are in. And that is, yeah, it's going to be Roche going to VP, and then with that,
giving it to G instead, actually, which is also fine. Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of the same idea. They have a frontline hero who can deal with the tower very nicely. This is now the Edict instead of the Weaver's attacks. G is tankier than the Weaver, so he's going to be even harder for them to bring down with their initial burst. If they don't commit very nicely. Of course, he does have a 10-second BKB against the 5-second of Weaver. Another big benefit of putting the Aegis on him is how much he can do with his second life. Here, taking it a little bit slow here. They're going to be split pushing top now with G porting up. And NIP once again forced into a completely reactionary position where all 5 heroes are just stuck inside the base. If you look at what part of the map they're controlling, it's actually just this. They have no wards outside their... Oh, actually, they do have 1 ward at the top rune, so they have a little bit of vision, but very, very limited in their intel. See, you know when a Phoenix is wave clearing mid with a Sunray inside his base, you know what kind of game it is.
It's certainly a pretty one for NIP. I mean, where do you feel that... When did NIP begin to slip down in comparison to VP this match? What went, was it the lanes, or in your opinion, what kind of didn't go to plan for
the
NIP?
laning stage went evenly, right? The advantage that VP got out of the first few minutes was pretty negligible. It didn't really do much. It was when VP started forcing rotations and coming out on top every time. I think NIP did not force enough themselves in the early game. Even though they don't have the best heroes for it, they have to try to go for plays, or they're just going to be on the receiving end way too much. So I want to say minute 10 to 15 when VP got a couple of, I think they got a 3-for-1 trade and a tower. And before that they got 1 or 2 successful trades where they forced 2 or 3 TPs. That's when it went downhill, and once a lineup like NIP's, or sorry, VP's takes over the map, it's
Illidan's got a double damage here, and I mean, Seal Kid, one hit, and that's your Witch Doctor gone. And it looks like it may be the tier 3 going down as well. VP, they're applying the pressure. He's going to get pulled back in. If they can catch him out, which they can't, he's just going to be able to Shikuchi away from this one. Daddy Storm doesn't get dropped down. Well, now with the Ice Blast connecting onto Terra. Terracopter's just got to be careful. Tier 3's fallen, and G now having away at the racks. Illidan just throwing the bugs out. Lightning Storm bouncing between the heroes of NIP, keeping them forced back. Now this looks to potentially a second set of racks going down. The fortification has come out now. Limp with the BKB trying to fight into this one, but he just hasn't got the damage at this moment in time. Pops out the Requiem, but G with his own BKB. Now he wants to turn this one around. Limp's going to get caught out by the splitter. Illidan, he's going to look for the racks first. Lil here with the telekinesis onto Limp. They should be able to find the Shadow Fiend. They do. G is going to lose the Aegis here as the Supernova ticking them down, holding Lil in place as well with the stun. They'll get the Lil kill, but down Phobos there with the Echo Slam coming in, ensuring that G gets himself a double kill. There'll be a buyback from Lil, Jonas and Fan. Maybe they can get out of this, but they've already lost the racks here. FNG, the bounce is going to be onto him, but Illidan, he's just cleaning up house. He's on a killing spree now. Era's trying to force him back in. The damage is enough to scare this Weaver away.
Oh, this would be a very big glimpse if they could get it on Illidan.
If they could...
He might die anyway. He died anyway.
The split earth! Oh, G on a mega kill streak. I mean, that's a dieback from your Phoenix. G's getting low arrow. He can't quite find the kill. They will lose the Weaver. but it is going to be both the Gyro and the Phoenix down without buyback. And I guess that's the best of a bad situation there for NIP. They do manage to get a lead in terms of the gold change and XP change, but it's only very, very slight because of those buybacks. And of course, the amount of damage done to their base now as well. It's not a great position to be playing from.
Yeah, Limp got about a 1200 gold there, and so did Seal Kid on the Witch Doctor. He's going to invest that into a Ghost Scepter. Probably the right choice when you just got one shot by a Weaver. You don't want that to happen again. But unfortunately, that means usually when you get a lot of gold... Oh, okay. Disruptor's going to get soloed here. Usually when you get this kind of a bag of gold on Witch Doctor this time, you're really happy because that finishes off your Ags. But Seal Kid is extremely poor and will not be able to get one of those big play items that could maybe turn the game for NIP if they got an incredible team fight. 2 lanes of racks down, 25,000 gold and 20k XP. I think more than anything, the important thing for NIP further in this series, their chances of winning this game are ridiculously low. So going
what's
forward,
the difference down net worth? It's going to be massive.
It was 25k. So they need to be able to draw the right conclusion out of this game, which, in my opinion, is just they need to be more actionary instead of reactionary against this VP squad. And I feel like VP could have played this style with a lot of different heroes, so I don't think they can just ban out heroes that VP played in this game and get away with playing the same kind of style again. If they want to try at least, they have to be more on point with their support rotations and predict better. For me, that's the main problem. And in addition, maybe their lineup could benefit a little bit more from having a solid teamfight spell that really sets them up. If you're going for wombo AoE damage, Kinetic Field is not reliable as a lockdown.
As we've seen in VP grouping up, well, let's see what they can do here. Just keeping all lanes pushed in as far as they can, and obviously ideally going to be looking for the mega creeps here as they go towards the bottom lane. And NIP, if this push comes in from VP, this is pretty much going to be it. This is going to be their final chance to try and do something to turn the tide of this game, but they're going to need something just around a miracle kind of level. And there we go. Fisher's going to go onto Limp. Jeez, he's going to get glimpsed over the Fisher here. Can they do anything about this? Leshrac, he's just a little bit too tanky. Limp's spot the BKB now, trying to get the punches through, but gee, he's just going to be able to walk this one off here. Illidan, he's going deep, he's going to ham onto Aerie. Jonas and Fan with the Supernova. Can they trap Gino? G's going to be able to walk himself out of this one. They have killed Illidan though, and that's a big kill. This is great for NIP, but now the Echo Slam onto 3, and now the stolen Supernova with the Axe upgrade, bringing the Earthshaker and keeping him safe. G just cleaning up from the outside, finding a triple kill, and NIP, their 3 heroes down without buyback. Make that 4. GG, well played, is called, and VP take game 1.
Lots of style points for Lil for that last play. Stealing the Axe, Phoenix ult, and putting the Shaker into the egg as well to kill him up. Very nicely played from VP all around. Great aggression. Very good map control the whole game. At least this game to me really justifies. Like they didn't do. I believe they were at X Games and didn't do too well right there. I'm pretty certain. This is the kind of game to me that shows why they were one of the teams direct.